Hopefully you can hear me. If you can't hear me, somebody just give me a thumbs up in the chat, please. That would be great. Excellent. Thank you very much. So the idea behind today's call was just to give you a quick Q&A, I guess, on the test project for Shanghai 2022. The test project was posted on the World Skills site on July the 6th. So the test project is live. The idea behind the test project is to give you time now to prepare, okay, for Shanghai 2022. The idea would be that you could use the samples that are in there to get ready for the competition, to run your local competitions, to run regional competitions, and to begin to develop material that you can use with your competitors and your students. So the challenge is based on, surprise, surprise, with COVID-19, a medical supply robot. There are several objects that the robot will interact with on the court. So you want to switch over to this little camera, okay? So there are 3 cubes as you read it, 2 medical supply cubes. These are 65 millimeter by 65 millimeter cubes. They also double if you're getting worked up about the robots as stress cubes, so that you can, you know, work your muscles and relieve the stress. And there will be a yellow 65 by 65 millimeter, what we call a hazard cube as well. All right. They're just light foam cubes that can be used. You may also You may also have to interact on the court with a gurney. You may need to move a gurney, a hospital gurney, or you may need to avoid a hospital gurney as an obstacle when you go through that. What we can do is we'll switch over to one of the courts. So in your document, what you've got is you've got 2 sample court layouts that Bob had put in there, okay? These are the sample court layouts that may be used for, I believe it's C1, okay? Which are your common tasks that you can look at and use. I don't think we have Bob on here right now for any specific questions. It doesn't look like that for your medical services robot. All right, I'm just gonna switch over. So that basic court will look like the following. Okay, so this is one of your sample layouts that you've got. There are the 5 patient rooms in this court. There is a nurse's station in this court. You have your robot home area, which you can see in my lower left in this shot. Okay, James is showing you the robot home area, which has your 650 millimeter round disc in it. So this is where your robot begins from, and this is where your robot would have to return to in order to be decontaminated. All right, going forward. You can see that we have the gurney pads on this court, and we do have on the court as well the area where you would pick up the cubes from, okay? So your dispensary shelves are there as well, all right? That is a dispensary shelf. It has white cubes on the lower, blue cubes on the middle, and yellow cubes on the top. So you can see that the dispensary shelf is just put in. And to the left of the dispensary shelves, you can see the nurse's station, all right, as well. The only thing that's not on this court right now is the order board. The order board would go to the left right here of the dispensary shelf. And this is where your robot would read any order that is required for it to work through, all right? And that's a typical World Skills robot on there. On the court right now, we didn't modify the gripper to pick up the cubes because we did not want to give you all any ideas. so that you could look at it going forward when you're going to work at it. Okay, I'll just switch back over here. Okay, so for your order board, when you design your order board, you will have small images. Okay, so these images are 40 millimeters by 40 millimeters. Okay, these would go on your order board based upon the task for the day or the task for the task run. Okay, you can do them out of paper, you can do them how you wish. I made these ones out of metal to stick on, so I just printed them on. They're 40 millimeters by 40 millimeters, and they would go on the order board for you to decide exactly what you'd want to do with the challenge. Right? You will also notice that on the court, you have the cube stands. So you can see that I have the red and the green cube stands, and those are marked with the line following tape that is there. I'm gonna go put that gurney on the one behind the robot right now. Okay, and I'll just get Frank or James, sorry, to go and to put one of the gurneys onto a gurney pad so that you can see how that gurney pad would lay out and would fit onto that court. Okay, so that you can see how it's going to work. Okay, so the gurneys could be sitting on a gurney pad. You would either have to avoid them, move them, okay, or depending upon the task, identify it, you'd have to move the gurney. Okay, right. So like I said, you have the target objects. There's 4 of them, right? You have the white and blue 65 by 65 millimeter medicine cubes. Remember that there's no restriction on how many medicine cubes the robot can have in its possession. You will have the hazardous cubes, okay, so that you can have a look at that. Remember that your robot cannot be in possession of medicine cubes at the same time that is in possession of a hazmat cube, because the hazmat cube is considered to be contaminated. All right. And please remember that after your robot touches a hazmat cube or a yellow cube at any time, it must return to the home area, right, which is that 650 millimeter disc in the lower left corner, all right, and must rotate 540 degrees before it can go handle any other object, right? So that it is quite challenging when you are going to do it. Okay. Okay. At that point, there's not much else that I can say. I know that the supplies for your gurneys and the supplies for your target objects, your cubes, are currently available and they are shipping. So if you would like to prepare the challenge, that you can do that. It is an open-ended challenge, so you get the sample 2 court layouts, that's it. But please remember that these will not be the court layouts, okay, that will be used for the main competition runs. Those will be a complete surprise, and you will see those on the morning briefing of the day that you are in action. Right? A couple other points to talk about with the challenge, just so that you're familiar with the rules. All teams will be supplied with 1 robot kit, okay, on C-1. So you will not arrive with a robot kit. You will arrive on C-1 with your toolbox as specified in the challenge document, and with any parts that you are allowed as per the challenge document to either 3D print, okay, or you are allowed to create components from sheet material. And your components must fit within a 1,000 by 1,000 millimeter sheet with a maximum thickness as outlined in the technical document. All right, okay. You will also be provided on C1 with a Shanghai accessory kit. Okay, so the accessory kit is available for your use. So you can plan in advance to use parts that you would have available in your accessory kit on your base robot, okay? You do need to remember that on C3 or C4, there will be a design change, okay, implemented to the challenge that may require you to redesign the robot. So if you're using a part somewhere else on the robot that you may or may not think that you're going to need in your design change, then your students will have to adjust the robot accordingly, all right? But you will also have those extra parts available to you on site for use on the robot for any of the days C1 through C4 with the accessory kit that will be there, okay? But please remember that on C3 and C4, there will be an unknown design change, okay? This could be to the court, this could be to the layout, you know, this could be to a cube, anything. So you need to be prepared, so your competitors will have to adjust for that unknown design change, right? Other than that, the sub-criterion are the same. Please verify and read the challenge document. So certain things like wiring that you need or wiring harnesses, they can also be brought to the competition, okay? But the only components that you are allowed to bring are your custom designed components that are either 3D printed or cut from sheet stock. There are no extra parts that are not listed either in the Shanghai 2022 collection or in the accessory kit that are allowed to be brought, all right? So the only things that you're allowed to bring are your 3D printed elements, your sheet stock, okay, and any custom cabling or electrical wiring. So as an example, the robot that you see in front of you right now has a wiring channel in it, okay, so that we can run our wire through it. So that's part of a wiring assembly. You could bring that with you, right? And that way you can just plug everything in quickly without having to do custom wiring on site, right? Okay. So you bring that and you bring your toolbox as laid out inside the diagram, as I mentioned earlier when we started the layout of the competition. Okay. I really have nothing else to say. We can open this up for chat questions if you want. And since I am not the competition designer, can answer questions the way that I have read the technical document. But for true questions, please remember that you should submit those on the experts form, okay, for everybody to see and for both Bob and Vasco and Earhart to answer accordingly based upon the competition. So I will open that up to any questions right now.
Are your speaker?
I'm on that audio. It's chat questions.
What on?
While we're waiting for questions, this is Frank Nanfera. I just want to say hello to everyone. And I hope you're going to enjoy this new challenge. As Derek mentioned, it was inspired by COVID. You know, one of the things that we found is that you know, one of the biggest areas of growth in industry is currently services. One of them is actually in the medical industry area. And, you know, certainly service robots is a big area. So autonomous service robots where, you know, there's going to be less interaction between, let's say, you know, a nurse or whatever, and a patient certainly in handling of medical supplies and things like that, anything where there's any kind of danger involved, and that's what we're doing. I mean, we hope that this challenge will inspire students to think, you know, maybe come up with ideas of what kind of applications they can provide in helping hospitals, helping governments to come up with ideas on how we can help the current situation. So that was part of it, and we think that it's going to be a good challenge, and we want to thank Bob Tone for working on this and developing this. And of course, our job was to make sure that it all worked, and we replicated the court. We, to help everybody a little bit more, we created the cubes and we actually, the gurney, etc. As if everybody's wondering what is the gurney, but the gurney actually represents what it's that stretcher that the people are brought in on and wheeled down into a room. And so you often see gurneys sitting outside the rooms, and that's what these gurneys represent. You can see a gurney that is sitting outside the room, and then of course a gurney could be brought into the room, and that's where you see the other black area. And so that's really the whole idea. We're trying to make it challenging in many different ways, not necessarily in how you pick up the cube, but other areas. So again, thanks to Bob for coming up with all these. Does anybody have any questions? Is there anything that you don't understand? As Derek said, there's the board that we wanted to actually try to put it together quickly. There's pictures in your documents, but we didn't have enough time to print it and to put it on display, but we will do that later. Vasco, Earhart, if you guys have anything to add. Yes, not. The other thing I want to mention while we're still waiting for anyone to have a question is, I hope you like the idea of releasing the challenge. I guess it's 15, 16 months before the actual event. The whole idea there is really to give everyone an opportunity to really understand this. And, sometimes we know that some teams only take a month or 2 months to actually work on developing their robot. Other countries, other teams might take a lot longer. So we thought by releasing the challenge early, it gives everyone a big opportunity, a much bigger opportunity to learn and understand the challenge and perfect their robot. And of course, it's going to allow for everyone to have a much better robot and certainly a much better chance at winning one of the top places. We hope that that many of the countries will adopt the challenge for their regional, national competition. We think that that's going to make a big difference. And we already know from speaking to a lot of countries that are planning to make that part of their challenge. Maybe it's going to be a little bit modified in some respect, but yes, it's we feel that that's going to happen, that will happen, and and I think it also gives you plenty of time to play around with the VMX Titan controller, so you can decide if you want to, write your program in C++ or Java, or even LabVIEW and Python and ROS, which we expect will all be running, and there will be teams in Shanghai that will be using one of those languages. So we have chat from Vasco. Thank you, Vasco. The CID is clear. Explanation was good. And thank you very much, Vasco. Hopefully we make the job for everyone easy by trying to make it as clear as possible. I think this is going to be our 4th event for Studica, and hopefully we are getting better, and I think we are. And also, we believe that the robots certainly have come a long way from Sao Paulo, where really we had such a wide variety of robots. Some people actually brought their robots that were made out of wood, and of course everybody had different robots. But we think that the level of programming, the level of what the robots can do have come a long way. So that's what we want to do. We really want to develop this competition as a way to build the skill for mobile robotics, autonomous vehicle mobile robotics, because that's what really it's all about. So adding more sensors, adding more capability, developing the programs to be able to do more. For example, using ROS, robotic operating system, and to really improve on the skill level for everybody. Derek, do you have anything to add? If anyone has any questions, please, let us know. If it's all clear, great. I hope that you will all, thank you very much. We are all wondering if we could get extra parts if the part provided is broken. Yes, we will have spare parts at the competition. So we're going to bring plenty of spare parts. We'll bring a controller, the Titan and the VMX. So yeah, not a problem there. Everyone's going to have a brand new package at the competition. They're going to get the gurney. They're going to get the challenge elements, one of each. They're going to receive the accessory kit. So you don't have to use the accessory kit. We're providing it because, as Derek said, there may be a change, and we have to decide that you may need to use that. Okay, well, if there are no more questions, thank you very much. If you have additional questions, if you want to reach out to me, if you need help, we are looking to see how we can help support everybody. Please remember, as Derek's saying to everyone there, please remember to use the forum with your questions. Derek, if you want to actually talk, you can. And that's basically it. It's only been 25 minutes. If you think that we need to do more in the future, let us know. We'll certainly consider it.
You can unmute yourself.
Okay, so thank you, everybody. Like I said, many of you probably have just reviewed the information document. It should be fairly clear. I'm sure you'll have some questions on component parts who are allowed or not allowed to bring, and so on, and that'll get worked out via the form. But please remember to use that so that the rest of the experts and any competitor countries can see that. That's where your questions should go. If you email a specific question, we're just going to tell you to put it on the form anyways. And with that, if there's no other questions, I'd like to thank everybody. We're going to leave the court image, switch back to the court image, open for a while if you want to stay on. What we'll do is we'll go out and we'll move that camera around just in case, you want to have a look at it. And I'd like to thank everybody. So that's great. Thank you.
I guess I can narrate a little bit. We're showing that the gurney is inside the room, and then you have the two different stations. On one side, you have the hazardous medical medicine, and then on the right side, you have the other two items. And someone is throwing medicine. They're the cubes, of course. They are just stress balls. And yeah, there's the robot entering where it would enter the room and possibly move the gurney or take the hazardous waste or take the other two items, medicine. Yeah, it's a little bit of, it's going to be tight, so you have to be fairly accurate. And you can see the gurney, that's on the outside. If the robot hits the gurney, then the robot will have to pick it up and put it back in its position or lose marks. That would be the position where the robot is going to see the board to get its instructions. This is going to be obviously very tricky because of the obstruction of those dowel pins there. So you have to get the correct medicine. By the way, this is being recorded, so you could, we can provide you with the recording. We will provide the recording to everyone if you'd like. The robot that you're seeing there has nothing to do with the waste management. It's another robot which was made to pick up the smaller balls, so it has nothing to do with the waste management.
There. Okay.
Sorry, I meant to say it has nothing to do with the Shanghai. That was actually for the waste management.
Mute him and keep that because it's the master.
All right. Okay, everybody. Thank you very, very much. If there's any questions, as I said, please post them onto the experts forum. We just hope you got a quick overview of the challenge and that you have fun. It's been fun working on the design going forward. And good luck with your robots. We have more that we've already designed. We're just keeping them all a secret because you get to work on your own. So thank you very much, and happy robotics. For those of you participating in the online challenge for World Skills Asia, which is based upon this challenge, this gives you a little bit more of an overview so that you can see what your court layout, because this is the court layout that we will be using, is like for the online challenge. So thank you very much, and everybody have a great day, morning, or evening.